Hello everyone, welcome to the audit and attestation class. In this class of assessing risk and developing planned response to those assessed risks, we will be covering in detail about the risk of IT system on internal control, which is from the IT system, IT general control and the application control topic. So let's dive into to understand the risk of IT system on internal control. So next is risk of IT system on internal control. So far we understand what is IT system, what are the type of controls and what are the benefits. Now anything or everything has both the pros and cons, right? So we have seen like the benefits of information system, but there are certain risks also attached to the information system. One is inaccurate processing of data. If wrong business logic is being fed, if you have fed 2 plus 2 should be 5, then it's not system's fault, it's being the fault the who has configured the respective business logic, right? If you have configured the wrong business logic, then it will give you the wrong result, right? Same way, unauthorized access. So maybe sometime, like if you have seen like small companies or mid-sized company, they may not have appropriate segregation of duties, right? Some person, especially like at a finance team, if you see like finance controller or maybe like manager finance, they may have access to all the data, right? So there might be certain chances like where like any employee has shared their ID and password with other employee, and other employee is taking like unauthorized access of the data which is he or she is not supposed to get this data, right? So those all are risks there, like because of, let's say for example, like today Kamal, Sandeep and Pranjali and Vineet, we all are working for an engagement, let's say for a company. So Kamal is taking care of, let's say, purchases, Sandeep is taking care of sales, Vineet is taking care of marketing, and Pranjali is taking care of treasury, right? So let's say it's Monday and Kamal is not well and he has taken a leave, but there's certain journal entry or maybe accounting entry which is like very urgent for the management, which they wants to park or book into their system for certain result. So let's say like Kamal has requested Sandeep, this is my ID password, go and log into my ID password and post this entry. Right? Ideally, Sandeep is not supposed to post that entry because he is into the marketing, right? So those kind of unauthorized access could be possible, or sometimes you can say the unauthorized access from third party as well, like the hackers, right? Your ID and password is of not so strengthened that anyone can easily hack, right? All the time you probably make the same password for all the IDs, like your Gmail account is same password, your Outlook is same password, your SAP password is same, and your bank account password is also fortunately same. And for example, any of your good friends have seen you entering the password, they can take like unauthorized access to your bank account also, right? So those things could be possible because system do not know is it Jaspreet or is it Sanchit, right? They know who is putting the ID and password correct is the right authorized person, right? Next is unauthorized changes in the master file. And any doubts so far? Inaccurate processing or unauthorized access?
No.
So far so good.
All good.
Okay. Next one is unauthorized changes. So unauthorized changes. What do you understand by unauthorized changes? Any idea?
Sir, unauthorized changes in the sense like don't have access for that particular thing.
Anyone else would like to add? Yeah, anyone else would like to add to Jaspreet and Kashish? What is unauthorized changes?
But unauthorized changes means, for example, sometimes the for example, provision for doubtful debts. Once we enter the amount, generally in some MNCs, only the person can only enter, but he cannot change it, the amount. But if it is allowing him to change, then it is called unauthorized access, because there are some crucial areas where only some high what called those charged with governance people only should look into it.
So one example, like an accountant, he has the access of credit documents is set by amendments 10%. But the accountant has access to the software and he changes it to 15% without getting management support.
Yeah.
So that can be unauthorized change.
Yeah, Sandeep, your example is like partly right, but partly wrong. Here Sanchit has also shared one example. Can you say that again?
Accountant has example has access to accounting software and management has set provisional document as 10%. But since accountant has the access to that software, he changes it to 10-15% without any update from the management.
Yeah, so that's also like that is unauthorized access. He was supposed to authorize up to 10%, but because of system failure, he is being in a position to add more than 10%. Right, that is an unauthorized access. Basically, he is being authorized up to 10%, but he is making changes more than 10%. So coming back to this unauthorized changes in master file systems or programs, generally like IT people do have access to do all the changes in the master data. Like for example, any new employee join, where does he go to get the access of ID, password, system, right? He go to IT department. At the same time, when any person leave, where do he go at the end also? To the IT to submit all their information, laptop, access, ID, password, and everything, right? So now like IT have all those information, right? IT person have all those information. Let's say 31st of July is the last working day of Mr. Jain. Right? And Mr. Jain went to their IT department and submitted their laptop ID and password, but you know they are in a bad relation with the IT manager. So now IT manager says up to dekh lunga. Right? Then he has made certain posting on behalf of Ayush, and then Ayush is in trouble. Right? So those things could be like part of unauthorized access. Still, it's part of unauthorized access. But now coming to unauthorized changes. Unauthorized changes in master file. For example, like an employee has joined at a salary of let's say $50,000. Right, but when you are maintaining like master data, like IT department or payroll department has made instead of 50,000, 500,000. Right, so it may be possible 5,000, or it may be possible.
This was a recent thing happened in India.
Yeah,
I think somebody got like some crore rupees instead of
yeah.
you know, the actual salary, and you left the job.
8 times the salary.
Yeah. So Kush has a news. He's saying like one of his known friend has got the salary 10 extra. That means 10 times of his existing salary.
Yeah, 1.4
and immediately
crores.
his friend has left. He's saying 10 months I am on vacation. After that I'll join somewhere where I found good. Right? Yeah, so those all are like unauthorized changes in master file. For example, instead of male, you have written female, and that person is getting additional benefit. For example, that if that employee is giving additional benefit to the female, right? And then maybe like wrong age for the employee has been edited, or maybe like for PP&E, like wrong life has been edited, so extra depreciation or less depreciation is being calculated by the system, right? Those all things which are being relating to the master files, whether it's for employees, whether it's for vendors, right? If different like in the vendor negotiation, let's say we have agreed for, let's say, pricing of $10 for any raw material. And when you are creating the master file for vendor and you have entered $11, right? That means you have made the wrong entry in the master data, wrong change in the master data, then the approved one. So approved negotiated rate is $10 for a particular item, but you have mentioned $11. So which is a wrong one entry you have posted. So now all the purchases, your system will show in $11. And if he has also sent the invoice at $11, that means like what you have negotiated is not make sense and it's a fraud. It's a case of fraud, potential fraud, right? Next one is failure to make necessary changes to system or program. So sometimes is it may be possible like system will not take any backdate entry, right? Most of the time, if you see like the big companies using SAP, Oracle, or like stronger ERP environment, in which they do not allow any backdate entry. So if anyone has made any wrong entry or anything they have missed out, then they cannot go back and make any entry on that date, right? They need to make the correction entry manually when they are preparing the financial statement and the post date. That means once they have identified that correction. So those things also being, you can say, risk of IT controls, or you can say limitation of IT. Next is manual intervention. So here in all this gamut, if you have seen in IT do not do generally wrong things, but it's the human beings who make the things wrong, right? So wherever you have manual intervention, for example, when you are posting a journal entry, they're also like individually typing the data. When you are creating a vendor master data, individually is typing the data. When you are creating the purchase order, individually is typing the data, right? When you are creating a customer master data, when you are creating an employee master data, or maybe PPN master data, right? So all this information into the system is being fed by employee based on respective agreements, right? With the employment agreement, with the union agreement, with the vendor agreement, with the customer agreement, right? So all those information which has been agreed based on the respective agreement or purchase order, that's is being fed manually by the human beings. So it's being a risk that human being can make a wrong posting or wrong entry in the respective master data, and then it may result into overall wrong calculation, right? Next.
It is sort of failure to make necessary changes. It always means that there is a restriction in the system that you can also make that change, or can it be a performer or say executor is forgetting to make that change or is not made that change. Let's say earlier they used to be bad, right? Now let's say this change. So they did not go and change that in the system. So will that fall part of this category? Or will it always be the case where there is a restriction in the system to go ahead and make that?
Yeah, so here very good point. Like question says like one point, like would there be always be for this point number D, failure to make the changes, necessary changes, would it always be like the restriction or limitation from the system side, or would it be like manual failure that is also being counted over here? So in this, we are learning like the risk of IT system or limitation of IT system. So here, all the limitation of IT system would be considered. Any manual limitation or maybe any manual failure because of mistake, or maybe like he or she forgot anything to post, but now in backdate he or she cannot go and cannot make the correction, right? So those will be taken in the manual, right? Next, F point is loss of data or inability to access the data. So have you heard about disasters? Have you heard about like loss of data? Have you heard about this? Like corrupt, your file has got corrupted.
Hard disk crash हो जाती है बहुत
right?
बार.
Your laptop has crashed, right? Your pen drive and hard drive has got crashed. Your hard disk has got crashed, Generally happen when you have huge workload, right? Generally happen when you want to take a revenge from your senior. होता है कुछ ऐसा ऐसा?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kashish, Nimisha, Pranjali, Avneet. I think Gurmeer is also here. Gurmeer, we are missing chole bhature, man.
हाँ
We
यार
are supposed to
बोला
make
बोला
chole
बनता
bhature.
और गायब हो गया.
Sir, I came to my hometown. So next time I'll definitely bring. Kushagar आया class में?
Yes, yes.
So Kushagar is also from Vikaspuri. मोनिका के छोले भटूरे लेके आने थे.
ये मोनिका के कौन थे यार? मैंने अब तक नागपाल और ये सब सुने, ये मैंने तो
हाँ
सुने.
मोनिका कैसे है?
कुशाग्र तो बहुत पक्का है खाने पीने का, उसको तो पता ही है सब कुछ.
देख लो तुम सब कच्चे हो गए. सही सही लगता लो.
So next time पक्का.
ठीक है. So let's come back to the F point, loss of data and inability to access the data. Loss of data, maybe your file has got corrupt, your system has got crashed, your hard drive has got crashed, or maybe like your DBMS. Have you studied in school days database management system? Right? You remember this terminology DBMS? Right? That has got crashed, or you do not have like cold storage. Cold storage mean what is cold storage in IT environment? Backup. Cold storage in IT environment says like one is hot storage, one is cold storage. Cold storage like as it is backup you are maintaining at some different place. Yeah. Those all are physical. Those all are physical environment. But now we are in IT one, right? So I'm sure you might nowadays from last couple of years you might be seeing cloud computing tools, right? Cloud storage. So like Zoom is cloud computing, right? So you have like Dropbox, right? You have Google Drive, G Suites, like Microsoft Office, OneDrive, right? These all are what? Cloud storage, right? They may also get corrupt, or they may also get like other than what is the right terminology to say? Crash, right? So there also that's also in risk, like those data which is like important data for your organization has been got crashed, corrupt, destroyed, or maybe like for example where you are storing, there is some like earthquake and everything has been lost, kind of thing, right? So that also like is always being risk with IT. Last one is IT personnel gain privileged access and may break the segregation of duty. Generally, if you see in your company, IT team, right? They know anything and everything. Even though what you are doing in the system, what you're watching, they have they know everything, right? So they also have like super admin control, right? They have like access to all the department. So they can take like privilege. It is like you can say if they don't work with ethics, if they don't work with integrity, so they have like all those accesses. So they can take undue advantage. They are in a position to override the management control, right? That is also a risk with the IT system and on the internal control, right? Make sense? PND you are saying or CNG? Unauthorized change. Yeah, unauthorized change in master files. Yeah, so that's like unauthorized change in master file can be an example of personal gain and privilege. Yeah, that's true. Cool. So far, so good, everyone.
Yes, sir.